Fair use. Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. June 11. Family Obligations. A spiritual life which does not include family obligations may not be so perfect after all. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 129. I can be doing great in the program, applying it at meetings, at work, and in service activities, and find that things have gone to pieces at home. I expect my loved ones to understand, but they cannot. I expect them to see and value my progress, but they don't unless I show them. Do I neglect their needs and desires for my attention and concern? When I'm around them, am I irritable or boring? Are my amends a mumbled sorry, or do they take the form of patience and tolerance? Do I preach to them trying to reform or fix them? Have I ever really cleaned house with them? The spiritual life is not a theory. We have to live it. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 83. Courage to Change One Day at a Time in Al-Anon, June 11. Step 9 says I need not make direct amends to those I have injured if, in doing so, I might cause further injury. How do I know whether or not to take action? If direct amends are inappropriate, I can trust my higher power to let me know. Otherwise, if I have worked the 8th step and become truly willing to make amends, I believe the opportunities will arise when I am ready. For example, I was unable to discuss my personal life with my mother. Fearing her rejection, I rejected her instead. An upcoming visit presented an opportunity to make amends, but I wasn't sure I was ready. Would making amends at this time injure me? After my mother arrived, I had the feeling that this was the time. I prayed for courage and asked my higher power to help me find the words. My mother sat down with me in a quiet moment and, to my amazement, brought up every subject I had wanted to discuss. I realized that the opportunity to be close to her had always existed, but I hadn't been willing until then to take part in it. Today's reminder: my higher power does not put any challenges before me that I am unable to face. The comfort I find in that knowledge can overcome my fears. There is a quote by John Burroughs, and it reads, "The lure of the distant and the difficult is deceptive. The great opportunity is where you are." Just for today, Daily Meditations for Recovering Addicts, June 11. Living Clean. As we recover, we gain a new outlook on being clean. Life can become a new adventure for us. Basic text, page 91. The using life is not a clean one. No one knows this better than we do. Some of us lived in physical squalor, caring neither for our surroundings nor ourselves. Worse, though, than any external filth was the way most of us felt inside. The things we did to get drugs, the way we treated other people, and the way we treated ourselves had us feeling dirty. Many of us recall waking to many mornings just wishing that for once we could feel clean about ourselves and our lives. Today, we have a chance to feel clean by living clean. For us addicts, living clean starts with not using. After all, that's our primary use for the word clean in Narcotics Anonymous. But as we stay clean and work the 12 steps, we discover another kind of clean, It's the clean that comes from admitting the truth about our addiction rather than hiding or denying our disease. It's the freshness that comes from owning up to our wrongs and making amends for them. It's the vitality that comes from the new set of values we develop as we seek our higher power's will for us. When we practice the principles of our program in all our affairs, we have no reason to feel dirty about our lives or our lifestyles. We're living clean and are grateful to be doing so at last. Clean living used to be just for the squares. Today, living clean is the only way we'd have it. Just for today, I feel clean because I'm living clean, and that's the way I want to keep it. Today, Emotions Anonymous, June 11. Reflection for today. Most of us can relate to the feeling of being used. Have we ever looked behind our feelings of being used? Why did we continue putting ourselves in situations which left us feeling inadequate, angry, guilty, and shameful? Were we not really being pleasers? It is one thing as a child to do things which bring us approval, but as adults we have the freedom of choice. We are not at the mercy of others for our self-worth. If we remain people pleasers, it is our own choice. Meditation for today. If I feel used, may I remind myself I am responsible for what happens to me. Today I will remember no one can use me unless I allow it. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families, June 11. Fear. Adult children often live a secret life of fear. BRB, page 10. Everyday individuals use faith to overcome fear. As polar opposites, fear and faith cannot occupy the same space. Fear involves a tightening of the senses, whereas faith requires a complete release of them. The ACA recovery program teaches us to identify and expose our fears to the light of day. We accomplish this with the loving support of others and our higher power. We do this in a safe environment where no one judges us for our past, for our fears, or for the ingrained reactions we carry from our childhoods. Most of us go through life waiting to exhale, waiting to not feel defined by the position we hold, our possessions, or someone else's concept of who we should be. We have given our fear a lot of power to control our reactions, but we are exhausted by all this work and want to feel peace and serenity in our lives. ACA gives us the chance to feel free to be the person we were meant to be, someone who is loved and respected for who we are, not what we do. As we strengthen our belief in our higher power, we free ourselves from our fears and stop believing our staunchest critic, our false self. We become our own loving, nurturing parent. The affirmation reads, "On this day, I will be aware of any fear that encroaches on my ability to focus on recovery. With the loving support of my fellow ACAs and my higher power, I will release that fear and feel at peace." This is DHB Recovery Network. DHB stands for Devotion, Health, and Beauty. I am Day. DAA are my initials. Please share, subscribe, like, and most of all, be the you that you are created to be. one day at a time. And remember that you are not alone.